I served her the divorce paper and she asked if we could still be friends after all of this. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Aura Zone Stories. Today we have a story where this woman isn't doing well after she got divorced by her husband. It's a complete story with 6 updates. Let's see how this story ended. So, things have been pretty rocky between my wife and I for several months. We had a rough 2020, but I thought it was more due to the stress of my job, then COVID-19. Then she lost her job and my job started getting worse, as I felt a stressful anxiety to perform even better as the only income earner at the time. Then, she started a new job and we sort of drifted apart. Early this year, we had a talk about this where I expressed my sadness that we are so distant and haven't connected in a long time. We haven't been physically intimate in nearly all this time. In early April, I commenced individual therapy, and it has really helped me process my thoughts and feelings, and I've been actively trying to share those with my wife and be confident in being vulnerable and honest and genuine. She told me, however, that she feels like she is smothered and overwhelmed and needs space, which I've tried to respect and give to her. Through all of this, though, she's indicated that she does want to work on improving things with me and getting to a place where we can both be happy. So, I've had hope that if I keep trying and putting in effort, things will move toward a better place. It hasn't. I don't know if anything I'm doing is helping or hurting. Giving space, trying to be more supportive of her, not trying to be controlling or restrictive. She still seems so far away. I find myself holding back things I'd normally be excited to tell her about, because she gives off a vibe that I annoy and distract and bother her. I brought this up to her, and how I felt like she's not putting in much effort from my point of view, and that I don't think there's a way to improve our relationship without actually spending time together talking about it and addressing it. She indicated that she had been trying and putting in effort for the past year, and she felt like I was the one who wasn't doing anything, and now she's kinda burnt out. I apologized and said I can't change what I did or did not do in the past, but I'm ready and willing and trying hard to fix things now. But I need her help too. She didn't have much to say to that. And because of the distance between us, I've started to notice how close she has gotten with a coworker of hers, a single guy about my age. They see each other every day, go out to lunch almost every day, sometimes just the two of them, sometimes with others. My wife frequently stays late at work, and though not confirmed to me, I'm pretty sure he's always there too. They go out for drinks with coworkers and have attended soccer games together, just the two of them, and then gone out to bars, and I know they've gone over to his place till after midnight as well. This all makes me feel super uneasy and hurt. My wife doesn't do any of this with me. In fact, it seems like a chore to her to have to spend time with me. But she willingly and gleefully seems to adore being around this guy. I'll call him Mark for ease of reference. This has been happening since like early March at least. I didn't bring anything up then because she even mentioned to me that she didn't want to make me sad by hanging out with Mark, but that he's a good guy and had never tried anything. Things were starting to get rocky between me and her, and I wasn't confident enough to assert myself. I didn't want to feel like the jealous boyfriend type and tell her she can't be friends with a guy. Well, as things have deteriorated between us, and I've observed her talking to him and spending what seems like most of her time with him, it's been hurting me more and more. I told her last week that they are making me uncomfortable. She asked, "Well, what do you want me to do about it?" And I felt very strongly that she should be the one to decide what she wants to do with the information I give to her about my feelings on her closeness with Mark. She never suggested anything, just said that I can put my mind at ease about that. And it kinda tapered off into her accusing me of not trusting her. I told her that I do trust her to not do anything physical with him, but that I do not trust Mark, because I don't know him. She seemed taken aback by that. After I told my wife that I was uncomfortable with her and Mark being together so much, and their friendship or whatever it is, I felt very strongly that I shouldn't tell her what to do or anything. I didn't want her to feel controlled by me, but she also didn't propose anything to resolve this herself. The next few days I did notice she was at home more often, and didn't go out for her usual drinks and happy hour with coworkers, which usually resulted in her spending extra time afterwards with Mark. I could tell she was sad and really down, and I ended up telling her that I want her to be happy, and do what makes her happy. And I worry that she basically took that to mean that she should continue doing whatever she's doing with Mark regardless of my feelings. I've spoken with my therapist about my feelings on this and what I'm wary about and what is giving me pause and anxiety about my wife's friendship with her coworker. I told my therapist about how it makes me uncomfortable that my wife and Mark see each other all the time, that she chooses actively to spend more time with Mark than me, that she seems to constantly be texting him, that I've seen her sitting on the other couch near me, texting him long threads or continually chatting when I am lucky when she sends me 3 texts during the day. Anyway, after I told her that I want her to be happy and do what makes her happy, this past Saturday night she went to a coworker's wedding with a big group. This has been planned for a while. It was a small wedding, and I didn't go. Mark was there. They all got super drunk together, and then she comes home at 1 a.m. and she was absolutely wasted. And while I was helping get her into bed and making sure she'd be okay, she just kept repeating over and over, "How's Mark? Is Mark okay? Did Mark get home?" And I said, "I'm sure he's fine. I don't have his number, you can find out tomorrow." Then she goes, "I know his number," and started saying my number. That hurt. Then she kept asking about how he was doing, and if he was okay until she fell asleep. Now, a couple days out of that moment and still processing it, I feel even more like she's totally lost feelings and attraction for me, and that she's not just friends with this guy, but is more emotionally invested in him than she's willing to let on or maybe even admit to herself. Anyway, I'd love some advice. I just want this hurt to stop. I want her to be honest with me. If she's done with us, then tell me. If she would rather be with him, then tell me. If she's emotionally cheating, I want her to know that, own it, and understand how it's hurting me. How can I broach this subject with her? Should I? How can I get some answers and definition about the dynamic between her and Mark, but not in an accusatory or interrogative way? Is she emotionally cheating on me? How should I confront this? This goes against what many people here have said about me not engaging with her. She could tell something was up with me, and kept asking what was going on and what's bothering me. I finally broke and talked to her. I mentioned my specific concerns, and told her that what's been happening is not okay, and that it feels like lines and boundaries are being crossed. She seemed unfazed. She seemed offended that I would even think that something inappropriate was going on. She denied that they have been physical together. She said, "I've only been out till 2 a.m. with him twice." "Yeah, well that's too many times for me," I said. She seemed to refuse to even attempt to see it from my point of view, or an outside perspective. It's telling to me that so many other people could recognize that maybe even texting a coworker so much, and worrying about his well-being after the drinking was crossing a line. My wife seems to refuse to believe that she's crossing lines. She refused to acknowledge that maybe what she's doing is wrong or actually hurtful. "He's like my best friend right now." "Yeah, well why can't I be that? I'm your husband. I know things are rocky and weird with us right now, but I'm trying to work on things. And I can't help, but I feel there's stuff you're not telling me. All I want is for her to accept some responsibility and remorse." She kept saying, "What do you want me to do?" She kept pointing out that they really haven't been together too much or stayed out late more than twice. When I spoke with her and told her how hurt and uncomfortable her behavior with Mark is making me, she seemed unfazed. Her first reaction, rather than being sorry or concerned that I'm being hurt, was to say, "Well, what do you want me to do about it?" I shouldn't have to walk her through this. She's a very intelligent person. She should be able to see that. Maybe there's even just a slight chance that what she's doing would look bad to anyone looking from the outside in. She's blinded by whatever she's feeling and doing. She kept deflecting. I told her it made me uncomfortable that she was out till 2 a.m. drunk with him, that it was weird. She said, "Well, that's only happened twice." She noted that they've only been to 3 soccer game dates together. That doesn't matter to me. The amount of times doesn't matter. What matters is that now she knows how it is hurting me, and that I told her I am not going to put up with it anymore. She should proceed accordingly. I told her that I want to be happy, and I want to be with someone who makes me happy. I said I want her to be with someone she wants to be with also, and I don't want either of us to have to feel forced or like every day we have to try to conjure up feelings for the other person. She told me she loves me and wants to be with me. It felt hollow. I told her she seems completely emotionally invested in him, and that there's no more room for me. I told her I feel like a roommate who sits around while she dates Mark. She kept saying, "We're just friends, and I'm not even with him all that much." She denied any physical intimacy between them. She said that other coworkers have asked her if anything is going on between her and Mark. I asked her what does "is anything going on" mean to her. She couldn't spell it out. I told her that I find it incredibly hard to believe that Mark, a single guy my age, has anything to gain from being just friends with a married woman. I told her that no matter how good of a guy she thinks he is, he has certainly had the thought crossed his mind of what if. She denied that they talk about their feelings for each other. I don't believe it. I told her that if he knows about our marriage issues, then it makes it even more suspicious that he continues to hang around. It's like he's just waiting for the off chance we do break up, so he can have her with no strings. I can't shake the feeling that she's lying to me. Something more has to be going on, and she is trickle-truthing me. I feel gaslight. I feel crazy that I'm feeling so bothered and anxious by all this. I wish she'd show some remorse or own up to it. I told her how I sat on telling her my true feelings about this for so long, because I was being too considerate of her feelings and neglecting my own, but that I needed to protect myself going forward. I told her we need to tell each other the hard stuff that might hurt the other person and be ready to do so. I mentioned that I want to be open and honest and vulnerable with her and would expect the same from her. Even if she thinks it'll hurt me or I can't handle it, I want her to tell me. I am not going to talk to her about this again. There's no point. She seems unwilling to accept that she's in the wrong here and very plainly hurting a person she claims to love. I know I'm being naive and stupid and will get tons of comments telling me similarly, but I am struggling so hard to get my head and heart around the idea of snooping into her phone. Honestly, I've been curious, but despite the heartbreak she's causing me, it's really hard for me to pull the trigger on that. And even if I did, and even if I found something, I think I'd have an even more difficult time figuring out how to best confront her with that information. I feel so down on myself that I feel this way, that I feel so stuck, that I've let myself get to this position. I can't stop thinking where I screwed up along the way. What's wrong with me? What can I change? How can I change? Why is this happening? I am so tired of all of this. I told her I know about her and Mark. I told her that I don't want to do this anymore, and that I want her to be happy and do what makes her happy. But if that includes being with Mark, then I don't want to continue to be together. I told her we should go our separate ways. I told her I don't want to be in a marriage with a woman who isn't in love with me and isn't happy with me. She cried and confessed that she and Mark do have feelings for each other, but she is adamant that it's progressed to nothing physical. I told her that regardless, I don't feel that we can continue how things are and that we should separate. I threw out the divorce word several times, and she got super upset and emotional, saying that I'd already made up my mind without her and wasn't even discussing it. I told her that she had made up her mind to pursue those feelings with Mark and did nothing to stop it back then. That put her on edge too. She told me I was being mean and not understanding. I told her that I can understand her losing feelings for me and falling in love with someone else, but that I don't have to accept an emotional affair, and I wasn't going to put up with this anymore. Then she started begging, crying, saying that it seems like a rash, drastic decision to divorce, and that we should try just an actual separating first. I said, I don't know what that will do for us. You'll just go off with Mark, right? She didn't really answer. She maintained that she doesn't want to jump straight to divorce. I maintained that I see no other option at this point. Even marriage counseling, in my view, wouldn't work. Because of work obligations, I can't just leave. But I booked a flight to go stay with my family this weekend. I cannot describe the immense relief I felt when I told her we should proceed to get divorced. The other good feeling I had was basically realizing that she made a choice. She's picking him. By not outright saying she'll cut things off completely with him, she made a choice. I don't want to be with someone who won't choose me. I served the divorce papers earlier this week. It went better than expected. We didn't really fight. She didn't try to blame shift or gaslight me this time. In fact, she apologized for not being easy to deal with lately and for not handling the whole Mark thing very well. She said that she always felt like not crossing any lines or boundaries physically prevented it from being cheating. She didn't realize until I started talking more seriously about it to her that the emotional affair aspect of it all was very real and very devastating to me. It was good to hear that. Doesn't change anything for me, but at least there was some ounce of acknowledgement from her. She told me she's sorry she did things that hurt me, but that none of it was intentional. I still don't believe that she is being honest with me. She's lied to my face for months and has treated me like less than even a roommate for so long. It hurts to know that the woman I thought I could love and trust more than anything was so capable of hurting me like this. She asked if we could still be friends after all of this. She told me I am her best friend and she doesn't want to lose me. She hasn't even treated me like a best friend for months. In fact, she has straight up told me that Mark is her best friend. I don't want to deal with that. Anyway, I got offered a great new job in my old home state. So around the first week of August I will be starting my new job and preparing my complete move out of this toxic environment I'm in now. I'm going to be moving to about 30 minutes from my family and will be closer to a couple of my very best friends. I think that will be good for me. I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice at my current job today. I anticipate the rest of the divorce should go smoothly. I told her I don't care about much of the stuff we have or the furniture. I just want to take the bed I've been sleeping in the guest room, the desk and bookshelf I have used for working remotely, and a dresser to assist me in storing clothes. Everything else I don't care about. I just want to disassociate from everything about her and be able to move on and heal. The worst part though, she is going to get to keep our dog. I always knew our puppy was going to be the biggest sticking point. She was going to fight me tooth and nail for him. She knows how much I care for him, and how bonded he and I are and how dedicated I am to him. I made clear to her that I want to keep him, but she adamantly refused. She said that she can't believe I'd be willing to leave her high and dry and with nobody, and even try to take her dog away from her too. She is jealous that I am closer with my family than she is with hers, and that I'm moving to be near my parents and siblings. Also, how am I leaving her high and dry? I'm giving her practically everything. Plus, she has Mark now. I decided that I just want this to be over with, and I want to start moving on from this. And if the dog is going to be the only thing slowing that down, I felt like I needed to give him up for my own sanity. But it's going to be so hard. It feels like I'm losing 2 people that I love, and it's devastating. Or at least one soul that I love entirely, and another person that I love and thought loved me and cared about me. And that ended up not being the case. I feel like I mean nothing to her. Like everything I've done in the years we've been together has been worthless. It's been about 2 months since I resolved to get divorced, about 6 weeks since I prepared the divorce papers, and almost a month since I moved out and moved across the country to start a new job. It has been an incredibly wild, emotional journey. Lots of good days and bad days, and the bad ones come and go in waves. The best thing I can do during those bad waves is just ride them out, and know that when the next ones hit, I'll be better prepared to ride them. I have experienced bouts of anxiety, depression, stress, and lots of sleepless nights. Less now than 6 to 8 weeks ago when I was in the middle of all this, and still trying to figure out what to do. I am doing better now, so much better than I could have expected. So, I wanted to provide an update on what is good that is going on in my life right now. The new job is going great. I was nervous at first, starting a new thing. But honestly, this new firm is excellent. The other people here are so friendly and helpful. And the law that I am practicing combines my 2 favorite areas of law. And I am learning a lot and really enjoying it. Tomorrow was my 29th birthday, and I had some friends visit me from out of state. Went on a long run, ate tons of good food, and had a great day. I have always been exercise-minded, but it definitely waned when I was going through D-Day and living with my ex, and it was hard to focus on physical activity. But I have consistently been returning to the gym since I moved away, and I have been training for a marathon. I am running it the 3rd week of September with my sister, who has been a huge support for me during this time. The marathon is at Mount Rushmore and will be very, very cool and refreshing to do. I have found my own place. The housing market is insane out where I am right now, so buying a house is simply just not feasible for me at the moment. But I found a great 2-bedroom apartment at a reasonable price in a great part of town, close enough to my office downtown to not make the commute a pain, but far enough away to not be paying downtown premium prices. Plus, it is right near a bunch of excellent dog parks, walking trails, and mountain hiking areas, so I can spend a lot of time being active and outdoors with the new dog I will be adopting. Brings me to my next point. I got to meet the new dog I am adopting today. I met him at a park and got to play fetch with him and take him on a walk. He was so friendly, so playful, and so happy to hang out with me. It made my heart feel so full, and I am so happy to know that this is going to work out for me. His name is Marley, and he is going to be my new best buddy. Guess what I came home to yesterday? Correspondence from the court containing the final decree of dissolution. It is done. My marriage is officially over. I am going to stay strong. I will keep working hard. I will pick myself up whenever I fall off this horse that is called life, and I am going to sit up tall and keep moving forward until I can look back and see this whole experience as merely a dot in the distant horizon. I have a life, and it only goes in one direction, forward. There is a beautifully vast landscape out there, a whole life of love and adventure awaiting me and my dog, Marley. I am doing much better than I was 6 or 7 months ago when I was posting here about my ex's infidelity and my divorce. Like, objectively so. I have a fantastic job, which is much better than the one I left. Live in a great city, close to family and tons of beautiful outdoor activities. Have an amazingly fun, loving, and loyal dog. Get to travel for both work and for fun at least once a month. I'm typing this from an airport bar, returning from a trip where I visited old friends who I left when I moved away. I am making tons of new friends. I have started to go out on dates and spending more time with girls. It's been fun. Continuing my therapy and improving myself mentally. Have a consistent weightlifting routine, and I am improving myself physically. I am developing my skills at playing guitar and getting into new hobbies. I bought a new truck to help take my dog, and I on many adventures. And best of all, I have started to set clear boundaries to help me live my own authentic life and value myself for who I am. I realize now that I was treated terribly by my ex-wife, who for many years in our relationship merely took advantage of who I was and my kindnesses. I allowed myself to be a doormat for far too long. The friends that I went to visit for the Super Bowl this weekend each pulled me aside and told me how proud they are of me. They know the circumstances of the divorce and the infidelity. They each told me that I deserve better, that they wish I had seen that value in myself sooner. They told me that my ex-wife is basically just living life as an upset person. They don't have much contact, or even friendship, with her anymore, and a couple of these friends have known her for like 12 plus years, and are still not willing to maintain sincere friendships with a person who would do this to her husband. My friends made me feel so loved, so respected, and made me realize for the first time in my life that when I go against my desires to always be selfless and take care of myself and put myself first, I become a stronger, more confident, and happier person. Now, all that said, I still have rough days. I still get triggered by a bad dream every now and then, or by a song that played at my wedding, or one that I sang at a concert with my ex. But these bad moments are certainly outweighed by the good moments I am living in this new chapter of my life. Things are only looking up from here. Now, if you'll excuse me, I am about to board my flight home and get ready for a date with the cute lady I've been spending some time with lately. Edit, ex denied any wrongdoing and basically told me that he would just be a rebound, cause she was going through a hard time with the divorce. Her friends, our mutual friends, have confirmed the infidelity to me. They have also confirmed that she and Mark are actively dating. Our mutual friends have told me that they made clear to my ex that Mark is not welcome or invited to any events they attend together. My friends basically insinuated that they are on my side and think my ex completely messed up. I am reaching indifference. Not sure if I'm 100% there yet, but I definitely am of the position she played with matches, and now she's getting burned. Not my fault she messed up her marriage, her relationship with her parents, and her friendship with 2 of her longest known friends over this. Yes, there will be rough days, but it's okay, time will heal everything. He mentioned that his ex is not living a happy life. All her friends made her clear that the relationship with Mark is not okay, yet she is actively dating, which tells how much of a narcissistic she is.